Hey, what is up everyone? My name is Victius and welcome to a very interesting city building game, Memoriapolis. Think of it kind of like a mix of Civilization and Cities Skylines, at least somewhat. It's in that category, so it's a city building game that essentially focuses around progressing through the ages. I think as of right now, we might have about four-ish ages that we can move through and develop a city throughout that. This is the first time I'm picking up the game. I really just installed it today. I built 3 buildings in the game. So essentially, we are still at what I would call a blind playthrough. And in contrast to what I normally do, I'm actually making this into a series. So I hope that is something for you. It's been a very long time since I made a series on YouTube. Usually I just make one video on a game and then either a follow-up or another kind of section into that. But I think this game is so in-depth that just making one video, that it would be a very long video. It was just easier to do a series because I think it's actually a really interesting concept to a game. But without saying too much about it, how about we just get right into it? Let's start a new game. And we have 2 different modes. We have the classic mode, which is the recommended from the developer. It's essentially the story mode. It will take you through the game, the startup of the game. And we have the cycles that are locked. So once we hit the end of a cycle, we move on to the next age, whereas in endless mode, we don't have the cycles, we have more time to build up our city, but in both modes, we can still fail. It is possible to fail this game. Kind of like Civilization, you get a score at the end of the game, and it kind of encourages you to try and do better next time, which is one thing that I find insanely interesting about this game, is that they incorporate that RTS style into the city building genre, which is really interesting. At least for me, it is very interesting. It might not be for you, but hopefully it is. Hopefully you find this game as interesting as I am. So I looked a little bit on this here, and I can sort of relate to this when we compare it to Mount & Blade Bannerlord. We kind of have to choose our culture. In this game, it's our destiny, but we get certain buffs as to which culture we end up choosing to get. So the destiny of the craftsman, the natural resources are 25% more abundant. For the traders, we continue to generate a passive income when caravans travel. So I would guess that once they travel from one place to another, we still get some passive income, as in contrary to when it returns, we might get the full income. I guess that's sort of what they mean by that. Then we have the strategists, which we can have incidents in the game. I don't know what they are because I haven't played that far into the game, but we do have incidents of some sorts. And if we pick the strategist, we are 20% less likely to occur and spread throughout the city. Then we also have the politician, in which we get 2 additional decrees that we also do not know what they are yet, but they can be issued simultaneously and reduced cost of 35%, not 25. 25 is the craftsman. We have the philosopher, where cultural buildings offer 15% more satisfaction. That is probably good, I would assume. And then we have the priests, and that means that the population regularly offers or makes random offerings of random resources. Yeah, you know what I mean. They offer things randomly, and I would guess to us, perhaps. I don't really know yet. I have not played with this one. Actually, I don't play with any of them. But we'll choose the craftsman to get the natural resources, at least for the first playthrough here. And then we have to customize our city name, our name, and the city crest as well, or the coat of arms, as they call it. City name will be called Nova, because that is actually the name that I would have gone with for the first city. For the name, we'll just go with VictiusPlays, because that's kind of my name. I could go with a nice historical name or randomize it to be something antique or ancient name, but we'll just go with VictiusPlays because that is my name. And then we'll make the crest. We'll go with the wolf. And do we have any colors that sort of resemble that of my channel? We kind of had this one. It's a little bit more damp than my colors, but we'll go with that one. We can choose the position of this as well. I think we'll just, can I go like 0, 0? I guess this is as close to 0 as I can get. I don't really know. We'll just go with it right there. We can choose the background thingy as well. That one seems kind of good. Can we then, just like that, and we can choose a second glyph as well, that will then fill out the background. You can choose that to be white if we so choose. What should we have? Should we have the swords perhaps? Or, oh, let's go with the crown. I cannot choose the color of the background, but this is fine. We'll go with this one. It's not the prettiest, but it will do. It will do. I really just want to get into the game, to show the game. I'm so excited for this. I have not seen much of it, however. We have some camera controls down here. Camera movement, WASD. You cannot use the arrow keys. So WASD, scroll up and down is zoom in and zoom out. And then we have the middle button. You can move the camera with that. The middle mouse button, and the rotate is on the right. As to where we start the city, we have some recommended spots. We have the riverside, which is the first one that they recommend, and we have the roadside, which is over here. And there are probably benefits to both. What they have in common is that they are fairly close to all the resources that you might need within the game to begin with, which is kind of nice. So I think we'll go the roadside. We could also choose the marshy plot, the forest edge, the mountainside, the seafront, rocky plains, or the river. I can't pronounce that. Estuary? I don't know what that is. It seems kind of like the riverside, but I don't really know. We'll go the roadside. There are probably benefits to the others as well, and maybe if we fail this one, we can try one of the others to see if we have more luck there. But we choose the roadside, and this is where we have to put down our ancient camp, which is the sort of the city center. And the placement I learned from the few 5 minutes that I actually spent within the game is very important. It's very important, like insanely important. So when I started, I placed it about up here, which was kind of a mistake on my part. So this time we'll place it further down here. Now you see the small circles that are on the screen on each side of the city center. That is where a road is going to form. So we cannot place down the roads ourselves. The roads will be placed down like kind of naturally follow the environment and so on and so forth. So not like in Cities Skylines as we're used to in a city building game. But it's very unique, and the city develops throughout the city here, which is kind of unique actually. You'll see that once we unlock or unpause the game. But I think the city center will be placed just about right here, because then we are able to get some stone. Let me just place it down and you'll see. So we'll build it here, and now you can see the start of the Antiquity. So we have some roads here. We have a road coming in there. We have a road there. We have a road here, and no road to this side. I actually thought it would connect up to this one over here as well, but it didn't. If we click on this city here, you might see this small circle, and we can actually move on to the next one here, the safety zone. This is the zone that within we can build. So we cannot build outside of that zone. And that's why the placement of the city in the start is very important, because we have a limited amount of resources to begin with, and if we spend it all without getting a way to generate that stone or wood or food for that matter, we'll most likely fail. And I already failed just a tiny bit. You already see now that the city developed. We got some inhabitants, we got some workers. We are using from the food that we have, and we spend some cycles, which is incredibly annoying because cycles is everything that the game is built up around. Compare cycles to that of turns in Civilization. Once you reach the end, it's done. Here you'll move on to the next age. I don't know if that age is in the beta. Hopefully it is. Hopefully we have the 4 ages to go through. But cycles is what controls the game. So whenever we place down a building, that building will be built on the cycles. We also have the resources to keep in mind. We have the food, we have wood, stone, clay, sand, and precious stones. As we move on, I can only imagine that we'll also get the likes of metal and other things, maybe, I don't know, flax or something like that, wool, to be able to make clothes and so on and so forth. But we also need to keep that in mind, and that is what we start, and that is where we start essentially. If we close down this, we are kind of released into the game. There's one thing that I want to show you before we start placing the buildings. Another similarity to Civilization, which is the tech tree. We can unlock and develop better things throughout our playthroughs, so better production buildings, cultural buildings, so on and so forth. It's going to be really interesting to see how this game progresses and what this game essentially becomes. But to start up with, we have the chapter 1. The organization of our city, and with that we have to get the amenities to be able to upgrade the city and improve the ancient camp to level 2. And to do that, we open up the ancient camp here, click on this button here, and we can see that we need to upgrade. The upgrade cost is 90 citizens. We also need 106 wood and 44 stone. So we need to be able to do all of that. If we run out of food, people will die and we will lose the game. If we run out of wood, we can farm some more. If you run out of stone, we can farm some more. If you place your city center in the right spot, because everything revolves around getting that basic resources. We are able to adhere into the proximity to unlock the Surveyor's Cabin, which is a really interesting building, and we'll unlock that to begin with. And what that does is we are able to expand the safety zone. I don't think we can place it out here, but what we can do is, so if we place the city center somewhere that we did not wish to, I would actually like to place this one up here, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. But if you place it here, you can see the safety zone expands, so we're able to utilize this space as well to build stuff. But to begin with, we need to place down a small farm. We should actually wait on that. We should actually wait on the farm. I think we're able to. I'll take a gamble here and wait on the farm. We'll build the quarry. The quarry is very important because we need to be able to get some stone. If we cannot get the stone, we're not able to expand the city. So you can see the amount goes up. The further you are to the mountain, the more stones you get. The same is with probably sand and clay. The closer you are to the beach or to anything else, the more you get. So let's see if we can maximize, I think right there. So let's place this down. You can see the small circle here. That is the attraction zone, or the radius of the building, and in that radius we have the attraction. The attraction is something that corresponds to how citizens react around the building. If there are too much of the negative attraction, people will not live as close to that building, in contrast to things that have a positive attraction. So we'll start out by placing this one here, and it will be a stone quarry. We can also choose sand and clay. It'll be a stone quarry. Then we need the small camp. No, not the small camp, the small farm. We need the cutting camp. The cutting camp is essentially the lumberjack. And you can see as well with this one, we have the circle, and the further you go away or into the dense forest, the more it's able to produce. So we'll place it right here, and it also has the attraction, the minus attraction. And let's get a cabin, and we'll get it right up here. I think essentially right here. So what this one does is it expands the safety zone, and it's actually very smart on why we do that, but we need to wait for this one to finish. So let's unpause the game, go through 6 cycles, and then we'll pause the game once more. I want to take it a little bit slow this time around because I am also new to this game. It is a blind playthrough. I have not played this more than 5 minutes at least, because I did fail. I did fail a city to begin with. And there we go. That is 6 cycles, and that means this one is now done. We're starting to drop in food. Each cycle we spend 5 food, so we need to get that farm going. Small farm. And now we can place this far enough away that the minus attraction does not affect the city center. And that is important. It is important that we keep that in mind. So let's place this down. And naturally, we do need workers for it. I think I forgot to show it with the quarry and with the login camp. But we are spending workers building things, as well as stone and wood. And for the farms, we can choose how many fields it's able to create. And that controls how much food it produces, but also how many workers it needs. I think we'll try to keep it at 8 fields. I don't know if that is enough. I don't know if it's too little, but we can always build another farm. So let's just go with 8 and put that down and unlock the cycles once more. Because 3 cycles now, these are complete. And we'll start to generate some of that resource. Also, as we move out throughout the cycles, you can see the inhabitants, we get more of those. And as we get more of those, you'll see these small houses expand. And they actually do separate into sort of districts that I don't know how they work yet, but there are some culture tied to these districts. Essentially, we don't have any control over this. We might have a little bit as we move on, but actually not really that much. Okay, so now everything is built. The quarry is done, the cutting camp is done, and the farm is done. And now you can see the farm is starting to generate the fields. Let's go throughout some more cycles, because we can actually now improve the city center in a short while. We need a little bit of wood to be able to do that. We get 5 per cycle. Same with the stone. And are we generating food or are we not? I think we're not, actually. Perhaps we should build another farm. Let's get another farm just to be sure. Let's get one over here. Let's try and get that at 10 fields. Just to see how that does, or what that does. I don't know if they destroy the forest by doing this. I guess we'll see. We also luckily have some forest down here if we need more logging camps. Can we please get to a positive amount of food generation here? That would be nice. I think we are when this one is done. Okay. Improved ancient camp improvement. That seems weird. Several cycles have passed and you now have enough citizens and resources in your warehouse to improve your city center. This upgrade will give you access to a larger building area. Let's do it. Let's upgrade this. And now you see this one was red before it turned green. That means we can now improve the city center, and that will take 10 turns. And we might see a visual improvement as well. I guess we're getting like a wall. Meanwhile, the farm or the farms will keep upgrading, keep building, and as we get more people, we'll also need more food, so it's only good. We are at 100 inhabitants right now. That is kind of nice. And we can start to see small things going around here. And one thing that I'm excited to see with this game is, it's a city building game, but it doesn't look like we have to play traffic management, which is something that I won't say I despise. Oh, okay, we have something to pause for here. I'm gonna finish the traffic thing first. It's not something that I despise, but at a certain point you get tired of trying to micromanage the traffic. Sometimes you also want to micromanage the city. You now have access to cultural buildings. We have the ceramic work, we have the arena, the... how do you pronounce that? Asclepium? I'm not native in English, so I apologize for my horrendous pronunciation of some of these names. Agogi Center, the Via... how do you even say that? Edificium? Via Edificium? I don't know, is that Latin or something? Does not look English. And the forum. Okay, so you now have access to production building, the architectural office, and we have access to your citizens' safety, health, satisfaction, health, safety, belonging, self-esteem, and creativity. These have an effect on migration, therefore there are a number of people wishing to join your town. Each satisfaction provides bonuses and penalties, so be careful not to neglect them. Okay, let's keep the game paused for a second here. We have some new information down here as well in the research tab. Okay, so we have the blueprints here, and that is what we use for the researching. So if we open the research tab, you can see that we can now research the cultural buildings. I think we can unlock all of the buildings, but this one seems like it has an evolution. Is that because we chose the craftsman? It might be. Let's unlock the ceramic workshop to begin with, because we have this evolution thing. Stoneware workshop. Let's unlock that one. And production, what do we have in here? The architectural office. Let's get that as well. That one is 3. So that is kind of nice. What else do we got here? Introduction to buildings. The town center marks the beginning of each age. Depending on geographical position, it may offer easier access to various resources or a larger building area. The satisfaction log details the effects of each satisfaction. On the population, constructing cultural buildings is the fastest way to increase the number of satisfactions. Where is the satisfaction log? The Book of Satisfaction. Okay, more in depth than I actually thought it would be. So we have the health. Oh, okay. It seems to be the same throughout. I think we'll look at this at a later stage. Citizens are happy if they have 1 point of satisfaction in health, safety, belonging, esteem, and creativity. The button allows you to analyze the state of your city. The attraction, all buildings and biomes produce attraction or perturbations, and the citizens will come to build their homes as they prioritize where the attraction is highest. That's exactly what I told you about the attraction. So cultural buildings, we cannot afford this one yet, and we can actually afford this one. So I guess we should get that, and I think it has a plus attraction on it. So let's place it sort of in the center. It has an attraction of 5, which is great. And what do we need now? We have the next chapter, which is to build a cultural building, and we also have it's an optional, an attractive land. View the attraction in the filter at the top right of the screen. Produce attractive zones. Where's the filter one? Top right of the screen. Filters. Oh, nice. Okay, so you can see the attraction here. So essentially, at a certain point, it might be better to move the quarries as far away from the city center as possible. And we can do that with the proximity buildings. So we can build this one over here, for example, and then be able to move the quarry further away from the city center. We can actually maximize this as much as possible. It just slightly needs to touch each other here to be able to build it. And we can have 4 of them. That also gives us access to build near the road out there. Let's actually place it down just so we can move this quarry, because I would like to see if we can make this kind of more attractive to stay around the city center. I guess we could do the same down here with the login camp. Must be built outside of a dense forest. That kind of makes sense. We cannot build it on the roads, so we do have kind of a limit on that. So I guess the logging camp is kind of where it is right now. But I think the area expands as well as we improve the city. Radius security area, yeah, it improves by like 50 meters per upgrade. If you are American, I'm sorry, I don't know what it is in yards or whatever metric system you use. We use the metric system in Europe, so that is the one I know. Let's see if this building continues. It does, and now we have more attraction here, which is nice. I think we'll go for the cultural buildings next. Can I move this one? I cannot. I can tear it down, but I cannot move it. What if we build another quarry over here? Hopefully it fits here. Oh man, it does not fit. Oh, here it fits. Okay, it actually produces more here, so I guess that's kind of good. Let's just build that. Make it a stone quarry, and then once this finishes building, we'll tear this one down. I don't know if it's too early to try and do all that micromanage stuff, but I mean, it's fun nonetheless. I'm trying to figure out if we get something very fun that we can build on this little island. Couldn't it be fun to place like a giant castle or something here? So perhaps we should try and expand in that direction. I also don't know if they do knock down the forest. If I delete this, will the forest grow back or will the forest be gone forever? That is a good question. I'm curious to see that. Oh, so we have to spend workers doing this. It costs 10 gold, 6 workers, and 10 cycles to do this. But we can also speed it up. So pay more gold, pay more workers to get it done faster. We'll just demolish in the normal speed. I think that is completely fine. We can also upgrade the logging camps and the quarries, of course, and the farms. But once this one is done, we'll build the first cultural building. I think we need more workers for it, but once this is done, we should be able to generate the workers again. We can speed it up more, but I'm afraid that I'll miss something if I do. So there will be some cuts in this video, some time skips and so on and so forth. It's actually that's interesting. So we can see where it once were. Are we able to terraform? We might at a certain point be able to terraform. That could be kind of sweet. Let's get the cultural building built. We want it as close to the city center as possible, I feel like. So kind of like right here. It's a lot of attraction. So good that we are getting rid of the quarry here. Let's place it down. And oh, ceramic workshop. The first ceramic workshop of your reign has been built. Choose the additional satisfaction on which the building should take effect. The values will be fixed for each occurrence of ceramic workshop. Note that the strength of satisfactions chosen depends in the order of which you selected them. Okay, so do we want safety, do we want belonging, esteem, or creativity? We have no effects so far, so I'm thinking creativity. Creativity can vary the production of blueprints, but also the number of cultural points generated by factions. Safety, though, that does reduce the amount of incidents that will occur. But I'm thinking creativity. Of course, we have the health as well. So let's just go with that to begin with. We can always, I hope, change stuff like that, or at least build another one. We could build the city down towards the ocean here, and then move the login camp up this way. So we can build these proximity ones. Can I upgrade those? Would that increase the radius? It does increase the radius. Okay. So actually, we can build a farm here, and then make sure that these farms don't go too close to... Oh, I should have built this in another spot, shouldn't I? This is affected by the farm. That is not good. It should be better. There we go. Chapter 3 rewards. You now have access to service buildings, the Horium and the Mausoleum. Mausoleum? I really need to work on these pronunciations. I'm so sorry. The first one increases the numerous reserve slots and allows the city's various productions to be managed more effectively. And the second one that I cannot pronounce is the trade routes that can be opened to other towns in order to buy, sell, and trade resources. Awesome. Let's pause the cycles for a bit here. Districts are non-destructible. Groupings of houses are formed in the most attractive areas, and they are tinged with culture. They will become cultural districts and may host a faction. So this is a production. Oh, so we have two districts that are production districts. I'm not sure what they give. I'm not sure what they do. But I guess we'll figure out at some point. Right now we have a good amount of citizens. We don't have any wanderers. I think can I see what wanderers are? Oh, we have one wanderer in one of the areas apparently. Wanderers. Citizens who can't find attractive districts to settle in automatically become wanderers. In addition, wanderers may move to the city if satisfactions are extremely high and migration is possible. Okay, so that is what they are. I'm thinking we're gonna move the city in this direction, because now I built the farms here. I would like to naturally get up to this point, but we will maybe be able to expand the city fairly quickly. But let's expand the perimeter out here. So let's start by building this one, and then we'll build another one kind of up here, and then we should have access to the dense forest for a logging camp, which is kind of nice. We also have some decorative stuff. We cannot build this one yet because we need sand and we need clay for that, and for that we need other quarries. So perhaps we should figure out if we can place down another quarry somewhere where we can get those things. So as far as it goes from sand, we need to naturally be closer to the beach. For clay we need to be in a dense forest area, or no, a swamp area. This is a swamp, right? So perhaps moving up in this direction is not the best choice. We should actually move down in this direction, but we should also be able to hit the dense forest either way. It should be all right. Let's unpause the game. Chapter 4, Shaping Districts. Construction completed. Many citizens would like to live in the adjacent districts, as the buildings provide a certain cultural input. This allows residents to be unified under specific codes and values. The more shared the value, the more peaceful of your reign, unless a rich diversity brings you more benefits. Gonna be interesting to see that for sure. Let's build the next cabin, and the next cabin will be down here by the pond, as far out as we can go. So how about right there? I think so, because then we can upgrade these two, get access to the dense forest, and I think we'll be able to place down a quarry right here. Chapter 4 rewards. You now have access to production buildings, carver, and carpentry. You also have access to construction of ramparts. These can be built from the downtown interface and bringing various benefits to inhabitants and constructions. Let's pause the cycles for a bit. Again, there's a lot of pausing, but there's a lot of reading and a lot of things to figure out. But so far, it seems very enjoyable. Informations, the factions. The factions settle in districts of the same culture, and they play a vital role in the town's development, producing resources, gaining buildings, gaining access to politics, and so on. This is just the in-game help. So what kind of districts do we have? We have a production here, production there, normal district, normal district, normal district. So nothing really. Approved factions is the next one. So accept manually one faction. That is the next thing we'll go for. At least we'll try and see what that is. But we still only have that one district type thing. At a certain point, we might have more, we might have less. We're producing a lot of food, so another farm might not be the thing to go for right now. Another logging camp for sure. We'll get another logging camp up here. We got rubbles now as well. So is that made from? It might be made from clay. So the carver, and then the rubbles made from the carver out of clay, I guess, or stone. Maybe, no, it's stone, of course. You can see it. There's the little lines. And we have the beams from the carpentry. So that is production buildings that we will look into building at a certain point. I think we do need to unlock them, though, with the blueprints. And I think this building here is generating blueprints. Let's take a look in here. We have the carpentry building. It's less attraction, and so is the carver. But it should be fine. But I think that will all be for the next episode. Thank you so much for watching this. If you're as excited for this game as I am, leave a like down below. Also comment down in the comment section what you think of the game. Have you tried it? Do you want to try it? Are you considering buying it? If you buy it right now, and this is totally not sponsored by the way, I play this game out of pure joy. But there are a 15% off on Steam right now in the next coming days. I think it released like 10 days ago, so I think there is like 4 days left maybe on the discount of a 15%. So you get it for about 20 euros, which is not really that bad. It's normally 25. So far I'm enjoying myself. Hope you are as well. And thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you all in the next episode. Bye for now.